Welcome back to BDX AI, guys! Today's video is going to be incredibly special and hardcore because we are putting the new king of AI video generation to the test, LTX 2.3. This new model claims it can generate fast action, cinematic slow motion, and hyper-realistic physics flawlessly. But is it actually that capable? Or is it just hype? Today, we're doing a complete post-mortem of this model through 12 different hardcore tests. And make sure you stick around until the very end, because I'm going to show you exactly how to install and run this premium AI model locally on your own PC or on the cloud for absolutely free with unlimited usage. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. Before we jump into our hardcore tests, let's take a detailed look at what LTX 2.3 actually is and what's new. Guys, this is an open-source foundation model from Lightricks, utilizing roughly 20.9 billion parameters. In this new 2.3 update, they have completely rebuilt their variational autoencoder. Because of this, fine textures, hair, text, and skin details look much sharper, and the video doesn't lose quality even after compression. Additionally, their text connector is now 4 times larger. This simply means the longer and more complex your prompt is, the better this model will understand it. The most amazing part is that this model generates synchronized audio, dialogue, and sound effects right alongside the video in a single pass. And yes, it now supports native 9:16 portrait mode, so you can easily create YouTube Shorts or TikToks without cropping landscape videos. So, we ran our very first test on an intense MMA fight scene where we wanted to check fast motion. To be honest, the result is pretty disappointing. The claims that this model would handle fast motion and complex character interactions well completely fail here. If you look closely at this clip, both fighters look entirely merged together, and there's a massive warping issue in the frame. The glitching level is so high that during the action, the fighters' faces are constantly distorting and warping. In some frames, the situation is so bad that their hands and facial features suddenly vanish completely. This looks exactly like some early-stage AI from ages ago. On top of that, there's a huge scaling issue in the background environment. The ring in the back has practically been made so massive that it's impossible in real life. Overall, in this fast-paced action test, this model failed miserably. Now moving on to our second test, which was a samurai sword fight, and this one turned out much better than the first. To give the scene a cinematic and dramatic feel, the AI autonomously generated this video in slow motion, which honestly looks incredible. Both warriors look absolutely perfect, and this time, there were zero warping or character distortion issues. However, the problem lies in their swords. The swords they are holding look a bit abnormal, and the biggest physics fail happens when their swords clash. Sparks start flying before the blades even touch each other. But if we ignore these minor flaws for a moment, the background audio syncs perfectly with the visuals, and the overall vibe is very cinematic.
Now let's check out test number 3, which is truly the ultimate benchmark for any AI model. Will Smith eating spaghetti. Guys, this result completely shocked me, because this AI changed the entire person. Despite the prompt, instead of Will Smith, the video shows a completely normal, random guy eating spaghetti. But if we overlook that identity mistake and purely judge the realism, this scene is outstanding. The way this guy is eating, his facial movements, the style of chewing the spaghetti, and the way he holds the spoon in his hand look incredibly real and natural. The physical interaction and the overall physics of the scene feel very accurate. I didn't spot a single warp or glitch in this entire video clip. There is just one weird thing. There are 2 teacups sitting on the table that look a bit out of context there. Our fourth test was anime and 2D stylization. My first impression, looking at the visuals and overall feel, is that this result turned out pretty great. The whole scene looks exactly like a proper Ghibli style and 2D animation. The cinematic rain effect looks really good. The AI even perfectly captured the reflection in the girl's eyes. But man, the mistakes here are massive too. The weirdest thing is that an odd, scarf-like object generated right between the girl's legs, which makes absolutely no sense. Besides that, there's another major physics issue with her hair. In the normal world, the wind blows things in one direction, but in this video, the girl's hair is blowing to the left and the right simultaneously, which is practically impossible. So overall, it's a decent generation, but definitely not perfect. Our fifth test was singing and dancing. And this result completely blew my mind. The biggest thing here is that LTX 2.3 is an open source model. And for that standard, the output it gave is truly top tier. If you look closely, the girl in this video is dancing perfectly while singing at the same time. Her lip sync is incredibly accurate and smooth. Another amazing thing in this generation is the background audio sync. Notice the movement of the drum playing in the back. When the drummer's stick hits the steel plate of the drum, it sounds perfectly in sync. Yes, if we talk about minor errors, there is definitely some slight deformation visible in the girl's hands and fingers. But overall, this is a phenomenal video. Now let's move to our sixth test, which was opera and orchestra. Honestly, I couldn't find a single issue or flaw in this test. This was a pretty complex scene with a lot of people in the frame, but no one's face deformed or looked messed up here. But the most surprising and amazing part of this video comes when the camera suddenly cuts and focuses on a single person's face. I didn't write anything about this camera cut in my prompt. Despite that, the AI added this cinematic touch on its own. This autonomous creativity from the AI gave the entire scene a perfect cinematic vibe. Also, the background music perfectly syncs with the elements in the video. I found this generation to be absolutely spot on.
Guys, the seventh test is anatomy, and we all know how much AI models struggle with generating hands. But if you look at this test, the human hand and fingers generated perfectly and accurately. You won't find any deformation here. The texture of the skin on the hand and the mud covering it look exactly like a real human. However, when it comes to physics and logic, this scene scores 0 marks. In the video, the man is trying to sculpt something out of the clay, but the clay just isn't taking any shape. The biggest mistake is that while the bottom plate is spinning, the clay he is holding in his hand isn't spinning along with the wheel at all. Although, despite this visual glitch, the background audio for the scene generated perfectly. The eighth test was figure skating. Speaking of overall visuals, I didn't see any major issues in this video. The girl skating on the ice has perfect movements, and there's no deformation anywhere on her body. But the biggest thing to notice here is the slow motion effect. I didn't ask for slow motion in my prompt, yet the AI autonomously made this video in slow motion to make it look highly cinematic. This clearly shows that this model has been heavily trained for cinematic and premium shots. If we talk about flaws, there's just a slight mess-up and distortion in the girl's hands and fingers. Everything else is absolutely perfect. Guys, our ninth test was a 3D Pixar-style animation where we used a prompt with a puppy and a soap bubble. Honestly, when it comes to 3D rendering, this AI looks seriously powerful. The texture of the puppy's fur, its eyes, and the warm lighting of the backyard give off a high-quality, premium vibe, just like Pixar movies. But again, that same minor physics issue is slightly noticeable here when the puppy jumps. However, purely based on visuals and 3D animation quality, this output turned out fantastic and fully justified the 3D style.
Now let's move on to the 10th test, which was camera movement and text rendering. I seriously have to give a grand salute to this test. The cinematic drone shot this model took is absolutely perfect. The motion blur you see on the sides of the camera looks so realistic that the whole scene comes alive. And just like the prompt asked, the camera goes directly to the text wall and stops right on focus. Out of all the tests we've done so far, I found this generation to be the absolute best. The text rendering here is also very good. There's just one tiny glitch. In Open 24 hours, instead of writing 24 together, it separated the 2 and the 4. Otherwise, the whole clip is completely flawless.
Guys, the 11th test was a very crucial image-to-video test where we used a first frame and a last frame. If I just talk about the transition between frames, the model made a perfectly smooth transition between the two. But the real problem showed up in its physics and realism. The glass in the video was supposed to physically break. Instead, that glass falls down weirdly, like a piece of wood. And the most shocking part was that while falling, new handles suddenly sprouted from the bottom and sides of the glass, and then it broke. This is completely physically inaccurate. And in this specific test, this model failed entirely. And here is our final 12th test, where we checked the 9:16 vertical format. Guys, this test failed miserably. The Rumali Roti flatbread doesn't look like bread at all. At first glance, it looks like a pizza, and then it looks like some cloth spinning on a stick. The text in the background is completely ruined. You can't even understand what's written back there. The ceiling fan running above is also glitching. When it comes to physics and text generation, this scene is a straight 0. Only the eye-level shot framing was somewhat decent. Guys, now let's get to the part of the video you've all been eagerly waiting for. How you can install this LTX 2.3 model locally on your PC for completely free. For my friends who have a good GPU with at least 16 gigabytes of RAM, this process is super simple. You will need to install Python version 3.11, Git, and Miniconda on your PC. After that, I will provide a Python file in the description below that contains all the code to install it on your PC. Simply download it and place it anywhere on your PC. Right now, I've kept it directly on my desktop homepage. Look here. Then just hold Shift, right-click right there, and click on Open PowerShell. Next, simply type Python, drag and drop that file into the PowerShell window, and hit Enter. And look, it automatically starts running. But keep one thing in mind, guys. You absolutely must have a GPU, otherwise you'll get an error, like you see mine right here. Not having a GPU causes an error. If you have a GPU, this will run smoothly. The Gradio interface will open in your browser, and you can start using it. And for my friends who don't have a high-end PC, there is absolutely no need to be disappointed. The best option for you is a website called Model. This website gives you $5 of free credit as soon as you sign up, which you can use to rent heavy GPUs like the NVIDIA T4 or H100. The biggest hack here is that if you link your card to their payment gateway, which only deducts a tiny authorization fee that gets refunded immediately, Model automatically gives you an additional $25 in free credit. That means you get a total of $30 absolutely free every single month. Once you get that $30 free credit, or even if you just stick with the $5, it depends on whether you want to take advantage of the free credits or not. You need to go to the Notebooks section on Model and click on Create Notebook here. Now, you'll see a small piece of code written in a cell here. Delete that. I have provided the code for this in the description below as well. Just copy it and paste it right here, okay? After that, look on the left side. Here you can rent the CPU along with RAM and GPU, and the prices are listed. Choose according to your needs. By the way,
This exact same process will also work on Google Colab if you prefer, but Colab is limited to the T4 GPU, which is why I'm showing it here. If anyone wants to use Google Colab exclusively, just follow this exact same process. Paste the code into the cell and just run it, okay? So look, I've run it, and after a little while, I've got this link. Now I'll copy this link and open it in a new tab. From here, I'll select the LTX model and then choose the 2.3 version from here. Now look here, there are 5 variants of the 2.3 version. Don't get confused, guys. If you want to utilize LTX 2.3 at its full power, choose the dev model. If you want to use the quantized version of 2.3, choose the GGUF model. This takes less generation time. The best approach is to use the GGUF model. It generates faster and the quality is also good. Just easily enter your text prompt here, choose the quality from here, and click Generate. It takes a little time to generate for the first time because it downloads the models and stuff, so you'll have to wait about 10 minutes. Once everything is downloaded, it takes about 2 minutes to generate a 10-second video. So guys, that was the complete hardcore post-mortem of LTX 2.3 and the master plan to use it for free. The model still has some glitches regarding physics, but the way it delivers cinematic shots and audio sync is truly mind-blowing. Let me know down in the comments which test you thought was the best. If you found this video even slightly helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the BDX AI channel and absolutely smash that like button. I'll see you in the next explosive AI video. Until then, bye-bye and take care.